Welcome, Taurus, to your high voltage Mars square Pluto deep dive video. Across the 22nd to the 30th of May, one of astrology's most volatile, highly charged, and intense influences occurs as Mars and Pluto are exactly at 90 degrees, perfecting on the 26th of May. I'm sharing on screen your event chart from a purely Taurus viewpoint. By the end of the video, you'll have a clearer understanding of how to navigate this in terms of your energy, work, relationships, and finances. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. But please also click or tap the bell notification symbol. Mars, through its rulership of Aries, is very much about action. It's about will. It can be about thrust. It's certainly about our sense of identity, determination. It can be impatient. It can be about anger. It can be about desire. It can be about a need for instant gratification. Pluto, very much to do with transformation. It is about deep power. It is the ruler of the underworld. It can be about where we're rather obsessive, but it can be also where life is deconstructing and where we can rebirth things. In this square, both players are in fixed signs. Mars is in your sign, recently arrived. Mars here has a real appreciation of security, stability, good foundations, and also no little awareness of the material plane. But also, it's about being more in touch with your need to feel your identity is validated, that your value is validated, but also you're going to be mindful of finances, but also your self-worth. Pluto is the planet of us collectively. Its host Aquarius is about us as a collective, but it is an air sign, but it's still a fixed sign like Mars in Taurus. So we've got two fixed players. Mars is really wanting a degree of continuity in Taurus. It doesn't really want to change the status quo. It gives us that sense of feeling earthed. And Pluto in Aquarius, very much to do with the way the world is changing around us at pace. Because the energy of Aquarius may be partly noble, but it is also detached. So it can be a dystopian energy. So we've got lots of different ways that we're communicating, but of course, mainly the big change is through technology. How this particular aspect will play out for you is that I feel if you are working in an environment where you need to deal with very powerful people, it could be that someone is trying to leverage their coercion or power over you. And you could find yourself with the need to resist and potently through to the end of May. But it's also going to be important to be conscious of our own motives too. But equally, if there is something that is changing around your professional situation, because Pluto's at the top of your chart, so very much to do with your worldly interaction, this is a time for us all that it's difficult to stay as things have been. And yet that human desire to stick with what's familiar could show up, but it's competing with what's changing anyway. We don't really have complete control over the process. So you may want security, but everything is evolving. And understandably, for many of us, we're thinking, why does it all have to change at this pace? So you could be pushed at some way, particularly around your professional situation or where you manifest your individuality in the wider world to shift. But what do the other planetary influences suggest? Well, your ruler Venus is actually in a delightful link with Mars in your sign. So Venus and Mars are in a lovely sextile. So even if you do have to stand up your point of view, be determined to deal with this transformation the best you can. Venus's communicational skills in the nurturing sign of Cancer, but for you in your third house, really give you an asset there to deploy. But we also have a lot of air energy on this event, not least Pluto itself. But if we look at the position of the Sun for you in the second house of your solar overlay, which has an echo of Taurus, so that is very much to do with foundations, resources, and values, well, the Sun's link to Pluto is almost perfect. So also they're both linking to the moon in Libra, also in an air sign. But if you look at the houses they're in, Pluto's in the 10th, worldly connection, the sun in the second, everyday money, values and self-worth, and the moon is in the sixth house, very much to do with the process and the details. But it's likely that if you do feel this energetic challenge, or someone is being very difficult, or you're feeling you're being pushed into something that you don't feel is quite right, you can articulate your defense in a very skillful way. And it's really important that you know that. However, I have to tell you as well that despite Venus and the moon being in very strong links, Venus to Mars and the moon to the sun and Pluto, they're actually conflicted by Saturn. So Saturn, the planet of limitation, pretty near to the dreamy energy of Neptune, well, that's in a square with Venus, and also Saturn's in an opposition to the moon. So that 12th house energy could be something that's not so obvious. So if you're dealing with a difficult scenario, or a very powerful person or organization or a governmental department that has a particular expectation over you, as much as you do articulate yourself skillfully, and you can, just be aware that psychologically you could feel a bit vulnerable, because Saturn can really make you more aware of your more sensitive side, and that angle to the moon, that opposition, can also make you perhaps a little anxious about how this can play out, and you may not feel that your words will really land. So this is where really trusting the process is so incredibly important. And if we look at the position of the North Node, very much to do with the karmic direction, that 11th house is your higher purpose. It's going to be in this location, the true North Node, through to the end of July. And that's in a fantastic link with Mars. So sometimes with Pluto, the things that are evolving and that feel like we're losing, it can be absolutely awful. But you know, in the fullness of time with Pluto, sometimes Pluto takes away the things we don't feel we want to lose at that time. But then we find out, looking back, that actually that was the right thing for us, because it liberates us to do something different that we didn't quite recognize was right for us at the original point of that rejection or breakdown. So if you can really think about it in those terms, it's really going to help you to get through this next 10 days in a very positive way, and know that Mars will give you the courage to find your voice. And even if someone doesn't really want to hear it, or is dismissive, or you find it rather difficult to say how you feel at a more emotional level because of Saturn being in that psychological 12th house, if you just think clearly and logically and detachedly, but deliver the message in an earthy, practical way, which you can do in spades, you can never navigate this next 10 or 11 days, but it will take some steadiness and some faith in how it will unfold. I'm going to summarize those four areas of energy, work, relationships, and finances next. Just to say, you can now buy my personal horoscopes and get three for the price of one. I've slashed the price. The one you pay for is your life roadmap report. This helps us to understand the patterns that are playing out in our life, get a more intimate understanding of them, but also how to work with them better future forwards. The free charts are your 12 months transit forecast, but also your Draconic soul karmic analysis. If you don't have your North Node late in your natal chart in Pisces or early in Aries, your draconic chart can look so different to your nativity. And it helps us to look at life, ourselves, and astrology in a very profoundly different way. It's fascinating. Please see below for more. If you've yet to watch your Mars in Taurus 6-week forecast video, that's on the screen. If you've yet to watch your Gemini season 1 month forecast video, that's on the screen. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, it'd be an absolute pleasure. I work with people the world over. Please see my testimonials below. And if you've yet to take advantage of my free daily written horoscope fired to your device each morning, please check that out below too. Get your early day celestial pit stop. Remember, you can check your ascendant, your sun, your moon, your partner, whoever you want. So to summarize, if you're able to navigate some of the heavy energies that are definitely going to be reverberating around the heavens over the next 10 days by staying cool, staying a little detached, thinking things through, but also strategizing about what the earthy outcome will be. So, what is the functional outcome? Even if you don't get an absolute win or something is shifting and it is a bit scary at the rate of change, just know there's enough in this particular event chart to really give you the confidence, as long as you can believe in yourself and do self-soothe. If you feel a bit nervous, talk yourself through it. But the North Node really does show up as a very helpful and powerful influence for you. So have the courage to go with what feels right for you, not to cling to what you feel is right for you in a material context, because with Pluto transformation, it's something none of us can truly ultimately resist. So I'm going to summarize those areas. Professionally, if you can go with it like that, I actually feel you could have a change which really sees quite the breakthrough, particularly with the Sun and Mercury and Uranus all in the second house. Something that makes way can be replaced by something much brighter, fresher, and more relevant. It may not happen exactly in this next 10 days, but the process could be begun. When it comes to your energy, having Saturn opposite the moon in the 12th and 6th houses does mean that you could feel more vulnerable, more sensitive. So if something is playing out that's a bit worrying, the chances are it could feel draining. Keep the faith. Know that your words can land. They can have an impact for sure. When it comes to your romantic situation, if there's someone showing up for you that you really like, you can use Mars square Pluto in a very productive way, having the confidence to change your situation by understanding that change is part of what can make something better come along. And because you're a fixed sign, taking that first step, the initiative, can be a bit challenging, but the link between Mars and Venus is an evocative one. And I think your sense of attractiveness can be very, very strong at this time. Don't underestimate that either. If you're in a relationship already, it could be a little bit of a power battle because Pluto's in a quincunx with Venus, and it's all about how you speak things through. So you can be very sensual. That's obviously something that can create a degree of atmosphere in a positive way. But if you do feel a bit misaligned, I think patience will definitely be important. But what about finance? Well, we are going to have a very lucky conjunction between Venus and Jupiter, the two benefits, on the 9th of June. So look forward to that. But I feel that it is very much to do with embracing the Uranus energy in Taurus, doing things differently, being open to being flexible, very, very important in terms of marshalling your resources and doing better financially. It's been a pleasure being with you. Thank you for joining me. All the best and look forward to seeing you again soon.